Thanks for tuning in to the Stuart Little Mouse Fly tying tutorial. I'm tying it in a 1/0. We're going to use a wide gap streamer hook such as a Gami B10S or a Arex TP610. Got a body fur body, rabbit strip tail, round rubber legs, and Evazote foam features on the back and the tail support. Start with a thread base on the back half of your hook, and I'm going to use Magnum Rabbit here, and I'm going to cut the strip in half. I like doing this. You can also use a micro rabbit strip. I just find that micro rabbit strips can be less furry. And once I've got that cut in half, I'm going to trim the fur down to the hide all the way back except for the last 1/4 inch. And I'm going to leave a nice tuft on there, and that's going to give me that nice natural taper like a mouse tail. I'm going to attach it just slightly in front of the point of the hook and get a lot of good wraps on there. This is a really tough fly, and we want it to last a long time. Attach your body fur and tie it in so the concave or thready side is down. That's going to make the wrapping really easy. We're doing 2 sets of 4 on the round rubber legs. In my back set, my legs, I like it to be between the point and the barb of the hook. I usually tie them in too far forward the first time, so I'm going to adjust that. And then I'm going to tie in my arms, my fronts, halfway between the back set and the eye of the hook. And advance your thread up to the eye of the hook, and as we palmer the body fur, make sure you get a wrap right behind the rubber legs. We're going to go past on the underside of the hook and then get a wrap right in front of the rubber legs, and that's going to hold them in place real nice. As you go forward and allow the body fur to wrap naturally on there, if you don't keep it concave side down, it'll look like a bunch of cowlicks. So that's the trick there. When you tie it off, give yourself plenty of room up here, at least an eye width where you tie it off, because we got work to do up here. We need space. So pull all that back, create a little thread head, and now we're starting to kind of formulate a plan. I cut my foam back on this 1/0, 3/4 of an inch wide, and we're going to use a nice ball of ice stub to prop it up. And I want that ice stub to be a ball right behind the eye of the hook. I'm going to brush out the back of the fur in particular here because once I've got the foam back on there, I don't want to mess with it too much. So I've got UV pink ice stub here, and I'm going to make a nice ball right behind the eye of the hook, and my tie-in point is going to be between that ball and the body fur. Once I eye out my tie-in point, I'm going to cut 2 little notches in the foam, and that's going to make it so that when I tie the foam on, it stays on the top of the hook and doesn't wrap around too much. Increase the tightness of your wraps as you go. If you start with really tight wraps, you'll probably just slice the foam. So before you really pull tight, make sure you have 2 or 3 thread wraps down on that foam. And we're going to retrace those steps with a really thin rope of ice stub. Do your best to keep it clean here. And I'm going to get 3 wraps in that same spot before I pull the foam back and get a wrap or 2 underneath. And I'm going to execute a nice clean half hitch here. Before I cut my thread, make sure you put a dab of the bone dry flex on that half hitch. That's going to prevent it from all undoing while we're trimming and preparing the fly before we really get into the business of the flex resin. I start by trimming the belly because I know I'm going to expose a ton of hook gap, and once I've got kind of that hook gap clear, I'm going to brush it out some more, and I'm going to start really working on my mouse profile, that distinct teardrop profile. And as I get all that trimmed, and make sure you got your butt fibers kind of leveled out. I like those fibers to stick out a little bit past the hook bend, and that's going to get me ready to attach my foam support strip onto the rabbit. And we're going to put that on the top, and it's going to help flotation and keep your rabbit tail from fouling. Coat the underside of the foam back with a little super glue, hold it down so it cures, and cut your 1-inch long strip of 1/8 inch foam here. And we are going to glue that on the first inch of the rabbit sticking out of the body fur. Apply your glue to the foam directly and hold it on for 10 seconds and you'll be in good shape. Now we're ready to split the legs and add the graphics. Mouse is really coming around, old Stewie. Blue-eyed flies have been working really well lately, so why change? I'm going to add some whiskers and some ears, and of course we got to get a hot pink dirty water droplet hook on the back. Once I've got my graphics in place, I'm going to fill in the crack on the top of the foam with flex resin and get that cured up nicely. That's basically a reinforcement, and it'll keep this thing ready for mini battles. Get that cured up, and once we've got the back cured, we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to really focus on the parts where the foam meets the body fur and the dubbing. And I want to make sure I get a good coating across the whole underside or chin of the fly. And that's going to keep it fighting for many battles. This thing can take a lot of abuse. Make sure that you throw these during the day, not just at night. Um, and that you never know. Anywhere where you got trees, timber, good place to throw a mouse. So get that cured up, and we're pretty much close to and ready for battle with this Stuart Little. If you have any questions or need clarification on something, feel free to drop a comment. We have all the stuff in stock on our store, our web store. You can search by fly pattern Stuart Little and have fun. Mice, what's more fun than throwing rodents? So go catch a big one, maybe two. Thanks for tuning in, and have a wonderful day.